and Alan declares that he is training to protect his mother from the dangerous monsters that lurk in the forest. Rodden gets immensely proud on hearing that and lifts Alan up, who feels guilty about lying because he was just trying to see if he could learn other skills. Derja tells Alan to protect Krina along with her too, and he thinks that Tomboy isn't in danger. She is the danger. Rodden says that since both kids have fun playing knights, he is hoping that they do really well in their appraisal ceremony. Alan is curious about that, so his parents tell him that the appraisal ceremony is held at the age of 5 to find if children have any remarkable talent, and with the right talent, they might even be able to get out of the surf life. Soon after that, winter arrives, and now Alan can summon an insect for a whole day. He is proud of his growth, but then Krina comes to play with him, and he gets distracted. He gets his ass whooped. But that is a daily occurrence now, so no one is bothered with that. However, the grasshopper that he left out in the open gives Derja a jump scare, causing her to go into labor immediately. Rodden asks Krina to fetch her mom, and then gives moral support to his wife while Alan heats some water. He wishes that he had played some childbirth simulation games in his previous life because he has no idea what to do. But luckily, Krina arrives with her parents Matilda and Gerda just then. Matilda immediately takes charge of the situation and kicks the men out of the house. After a long night of labor, the men wake up to the sounds of a crying baby, and they run inside to find that Alan has a baby brother now. Derja asks Rodden to name him, and he names the boy Mash. Everyone is happy about that. But then Derja realizes that her husband named the boy after a monster. He gets nervous about that, but Derja starts laughing, easing the tense atmosphere. Alan feels strange at this and thinks that in his previous life, he was a jobless, bitchless loser, and in this life, he wants to clear this game and become the strongest player in this world. He is enjoying the family aspect as well and somehow hopes to uplift his entire family out of serfdom. A couple years later, Rodden takes Alan to the nearby village with him, and the young Alan is curious about the appraisal ceremony where they are headed to. Rodden tells him that the appraisal ceremony is a special event in which everyone participates, from the lowest ranked serfs to the highest ranked nobles as soon as they turn 5 years old. If someone has a good talent, they can rise above their social class, but there is a huge competition for that. Alan is curious about the last statement, so Rodden tells him that since they don't have internet, people do other fun activities to relieve boredom. And since they haven't invented birth control yet, those fun activities lead to a lot of babies. A lot of kids are turning 5 this year, including Alan and his best friend Krina, who is also heading to the village with her dad. They soon reach the huge village where commoners live, and Krina wants to awaken as a swordsman so that she can become a knight. Meanwhile, Alan's only focus is on the village that is far more prosperous than theirs. He notices that the commoners in this village are hygienic and well-groomed, and compared to them, the serfs look like a bunch of homeless junkies. He is surprised that they are letting serfs and commoners go to the appraisal ceremony together. But he can clearly see that nobody in this village likes the serfs. Soon, they reach the church, where the priests welcome the kids and their parents, saying that the gods give equal opportunity to kids when they come to this world. They begin talking about the legendary heroes of their country that were born as serfs. And now Alan finally realizes how the social classes and character classes of this game are tied. With that, the priests take everyone inside and stop in front of the altar. Alan notices the statue of the god of creation, Elmia, who sent a letter to him the other day. The priests then call the chief of the village forward with his son to start the appraisal ceremony. They tell the boy to place his hand on the crystal ball, and his stats will be displayed on the black rock behind them. The bowl-cut blonde goes ahead and nervously puts his hand in front of the crystal ball, and the black rock displays all his stats just like Alan sees in his grimoire. Bowl-cut boy has below-average stats on everything except intelligence and luck, and he has the talent to be a merchant. Daddy Bowl-cut is overjoyed to learn that his boy has a talent, and Alan can't understand what the fuss is about. His grimoire pops up to tell him that not everyone has a talent, and he realizes that having a talent at all is a great achievement. He feels lucky that no one else can see his grimoire, and compliments the devs for this feature. Soon after that, other children start getting appraised. One unfortunate boy has no talent, but his dad still hugs him. Unlike my dad who disowned me when I failed a test. The next boy after him has the talent to be an axe user, and he is the first kid of the day to get an A on his stats. All the kids get appraised after that, and at the end, only Krina and Alan are left. The priests go with the policy of ladies first and call Krina ahead. She excitedly runs to the crystal ball, and as soon as she places her hand in front of it, it emits a blinding light. Her stats get displayed on the stone monument, and the priests are left flabbergasted because Krina has the talent to be a sword lord with S-rank attack power. Her dad is delighted at the idea that his daughter is going to pull his family out of serfdom for good, and Alan thinks that now it makes sense why she is so incredibly strong. Finally, it is his turn to get appraised, and the crystal ball glows very softly once before shutting down and then exploding into a light even brighter than Krina's. Alan is excited, thinking that his parents will know how awesome he is now. But his dad turns to the priests because he can't read. The priests sadly tell him that his son has no talent, and Alan calls that AI. He runs to the stone monument and finds that all his stats are E-ranked and his talent is just a CAPTCHA code or something like that. Alan starts cussing the devs for making spelling errors in something so important. But then he feels his dad's gentle hands on his shoulders, telling him that they should return home. His parents accept the fact that their son is talentless, and they tell him that it is not a big deal because they will always be proud of him. Alan feels happy to be born in such a loving family, even though they are too broke. Later that night, he begins thinking that his stats must be capped at E rank because he chose the Hell difficulty mode. While others would lose hope at this, Alan only gets pumped up, because he always wanted to play a game that would make him cry with its difficulty levels. However, he is still not over the text glitch in his talent column and decides to write bad reviews for the devs. The next day, Alan heads to Krina's house with his parents and notices his dad looking irritated for no reason. Even at the party thrown by Krina's parents, he keeps sulking and pouting, and Gerda seems to be irritated by him as well. They start being passive-aggressive with each other, and Rodden tells Gerda to stop acting immature and celebrate his daughter's massive talent. Gerda lashes back at him, asking how dare he say that after declaring that he is going to snap the ties between their families. Everyone else is shocked by this, and Rodden begins explaining that Krina has extraordinary talent that can make her a noble one day. He tells Gerda that he should stop socializing with poor serfs and make connections with the high society instead, and Alan realizes that his dad is trying to do his friend a favor that he never asked for. The two men start fighting about Rodden's selfish, selfless decision, and Alan gets worried that the fight will become too serious. He asks Krina to ask them to stop, and she pulls out her wooden sword instead. Luckily, she doesn't need to use it as their mothers take charge of the situation and stop the two dudes from fighting. Alan asks Matilda if Rodden and Gerda always fight like this, and she says that they used to be like the old Goku and Vegeta, but they have calmed down after becoming fathers. Matilda and Nerja tell him that all four of them are childhood friends from the same village, and when they heard a new village was being formed, they volunteered to populate it. They came here together and decided to start their new lives near each other, and even built their houses at the same time. Talking about the past helps Rodden and Gerda forget their fight, and they decide to enjoy some nice alcohol instead. The next day, as Gerda is working with the villagers, someone comes to tell him that the knights have come to see Krina. He immediately rushes home and finds that a lot of people have gathered together in the commoner village, including the axe user boy. He gets mad at Alan for no reason and says that talentless losers should not be here. Krina stands up for Alan, declaring that he is here because he is really strong. The boy refuses to believe her and starts pointing fingers. Krina almost bites his finger off, but her dad pulls her back before she can create a ruckus. Just then, the village chief tells everyone to behave because the knights are here. Everyone makes way for the knights, led by Daddy Zenoff, who is a sword master. Krina is really excited to meet real knights, and before talking to her, Zenoff summons the village chief. After some small talk, Daddy Bowl Cut calls Krina and Gerda, who run to see the knights. Alan recalls how they started playing as knights 3 years ago, and now Krina might be taken away to become a real knight. He already starts feeling the bittersweet nostalgia of saying goodbye to his only friend, but things suddenly take a turn for worse as Gerda objects to something that the knight captain said. He says that Krina is only 5 years old and has never touched a real sword before, so she wouldn't stand a chance to pass the test he is suggesting. However, Daddy Zenoff says that since the girl is a sword lord, it is natural for her to win the fight. He even accuses Gerda of lying about his daughter being a sword lord to trick the nobles, and as Gerda tries to explain that it is not the case, the knight captain orders his deputy to start the preparations. Gerda pleads him to stop, but Zenoff says that lying about the tests of appraisal is a crime punishable by death, and they need to verify that Krina actually has the talent to be a sword lord. That is why they are going to organize a fencing duel, shocking everyone who hears that news. Gerda begs for mercy, saying that his daughter is not ready for a real duel yet, but Zenoff declares that if she can't prove her talent through the duel, her entire family will go on a family trip to the afterlife. Alan thinks that it is really unfair and the knights have lost their minds, but just then, Krina sees a knight bringing a sword for her, and she is mesmerized. As soon as she learns that she gets to use the sword, she immediately tells her dad that she will take part in the duel. Gerda can't believe her words, but he has no choice but to let her fight. Soon, everyone gathers around to see the duel between Krina, the young sword lord, and the knight vice captain, whose talent is being a spear user. Krina eagerly lunges at the vice captain, wielding a sword that is as tall as her. She is happy to exchange blows with the vice captain, who keeps parrying her attacks with a poker face. Everyone is shocked to see Krina swinging the sword like that.